All right, speaking of that, let me. All right, y'all, about another minute, and then we'll jump in. While we are waiting, what I would like all of you to do, please, is head to, and I'll put it in the chat. All right. All right. All right, head to join.nearpod.com and then you can put in this code, and that is where we are going to be working out of for this morning. All right. Let me see if I can make that a link. No, it's not letting me. All right, so if you just copy paste that and put it into your browser, that should work. Join.nearpod.com, or you can just type that in. All right, and then it's going to ask you for a code to join the class. You can put in that code right there, IVGWF, and then sign yourself in. Make sure you put your name so I know who is whom, and that's what we're going to be working out of today. All right. Don't see anybody in there yet, so I'll give you guys a few minutes to get logged on, get signed in there. All right. Hey, good morning, Tyquill. Welcome. All right, you know my attendance. So again, ladies and gents, what we're doing, and it looks like I have our first student in there, which is Amir. Excellent. Okay. All right, hey Kira. So once you sign in, just sit tight. Don't do anything yet. I'm gonna explain everything we're doing. But good to see we have some more people trickling in here. All right. So again, what you're doing if you're just joining us, I'll put it in the chat again. You're heading to join.nearpod.com. All right. And here is your code to put in. It's morning, my friend. All right. So join.nearpod.com. Your code is IVGWF. Head there, put in that code, and get signed in. All right. So far, we have Amir and Ambria. Thank you. All right. And I'm going to share my screen real quick so you guys can see what it should look like. All right. So when you put in that code, you should see something that looks pretty much like this. All right. should ask you this question, and then you should be able to type your response right here, right? And then hit post. Okay. Basically, what we're going to do with this today, ladies and gents, is start to get our brains thinking about what we learn in school versus what we'd like to learn in school. Because if you remember from Tuesday, when we went over the background of this whole project, a lot of what we're talking about is fact versus fiction, and is, one maybe more useful than the other? Should we teach more of one versus less of one, in schools, fiction texts versus nonfiction texts, right? Things like that. So we're going to be starting with a couple brainstorm questions today to get us thinking about that. All right. But I still only see about 2 people on the Nearpod, and I'd like to get everybody in there, hopefully, if we can. Hey, Manai, I see you just joined. So let me put it in the
Alright.
chat one more time, all right, for everyone to see, since we have some people that just joined. All right, going to join.nearpod.com. All right.
Okay, Mr. V, my laptop died yesterday, and
Oh,
I
no.
don't have my laptop charger, but I'm going home today to get it.
Okay,
So,
well, that is good news. So if you are not at your laptop, you can try this on your phone if you can. If not, we are recording, so it'll be up on YouTube, and you can just kind of follow along. But join.nearpod.com, you can copy paste that or type it in your browser. And then the code you put in is IVGWF. All right. So go ahead, head there now, get signed in. All right. And slowly but surely, we are making our way there. Sammy is in there. Thank you very much. Okay. And you'll see when you land there that it has that question already up there for you. All right. What if you got to decide everything you learned at school? Make a list of all the things you would learn if you got to choose it for yourself. Right. That's going to be our first question for today. So I want you all to get logged into the Nearpod and post your response to that question. All right. All right, we already have a few up there from Amir. How to build credit, how to make money. And let me do this. Let me share my screen so you guys can see what's popping up. Actually, you should be able to see it on your end. All right, so maybe I don't need to. All right, we're getting some more people logged in there. That is great. We got about 5 people logged in there so far. All right. So if you are still not on the Nearpod, that's where you should be. All right. The code is IVGWF. Make sure you get signed in. And once you get there, you can post your response to the first question. And don't forget, just like IG, you can give a little heart to the answers that you agree with or that you like. All right. We have 2 in there already. All right. Another one coming in from Tyquil. Good. These are rolling in here. That is awesome. All right. I'd like to see a few more people in the Nearpod if you can. All right. Got about 5 in there right now. So again, if you're able, like I said, if you don't have your laptop but you want to try it on your phone, it should still work. All right. So a couple people we're still not seeing in there. All right. I got Ambria, Amir, Desiree, Sammy, Tyquil in there already. Good job. If you're still not in there, make sure you're heading there now. All right. Again, join.nearpod.com. The code is IVGWF. All right. It looks like we lost Manaya. That's okay. All right. So we got a lot of interesting ones here. And again, the question is, all right, make a list of all the things you would learn if you got to choose it yourself. So if you think of more than one, feel free to put it up there. We already have some good ones. How to build credit is a great one. That's something I wish I would have learned when I was in school. How to make money. Those are both from Amir. How to be successful. How to buy land. That's a good one, Sammy. So like real estate. Let's see if we can get even more specific. How to be successful is good, but it's a little broad. Can we think of even more specific here? Okay. And Ambria, Desiree, we still haven't heard from you. I'd like to see a post there from you as well, if you can. Right? And again, don't forget to show love to the ones that you enjoy. I will also share mine as well. I would like to learn. Right. So I just posted one of mine. All right. Tehran, I see you made it in there. Excellent. Right. So that is one thing I would have liked to learn if I could choose going to school. How insurance works, like home insurance. That says care, but it should say car insurance, health insurance. All right. Learn from Tehran how to chart numbers. That's an interesting one. What do you mean by that, Tehran? How to chart numbers, like how to use Excel and spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff? All right, so we'll give this one maybe another minute, see if we can get maybe one or two more responses from anybody we haven't heard from yet. But really good job. I like a lot of these. And Sharon, I don't know if you heard my question, but when you say how to chart numbers, what do you mean? Like how to make Excel charts and like spreadsheets and stuff? Or are you talking about something different? Um, hey, Shabria, good morning. Welcome. Shabria, we are, let me get you on my attendance here. We are working out of, yeah, spreadsheets. Oh, cool, Jerome. Very cool. All right. Who else just joined? Or do we have somebody join? Oh, looks like so we got Desiree on here twice. Hopefully we're solving our tech issues. All right. So Shabria, we are working from Nearpod. So you want to head to join.nearpod.com. The code is IVGWF. You can go ahead, head there now, get signed in. All right. Oh, and we got Kira in there. Excellent. So if you're finally able to get into the Nearpod, go ahead and share your post for this question. We'll give it maybe another minute and then we will jump to the next one. All right. And again, don't be afraid to give some people some likes if you have a question or they have an answer that you resonate with, or that resonates with you. I like Kira is very goal centered, just plain and simple, how to be a millionaire. Teach me how to be a millionaire. So when we're putting these answers in there, ladies and gents, also think about, okay, how can I break this down? So if my ultimate goal is I want to learn how to be a millionaire, what are maybe the other classes I could take to get there? Could I learn budgeting? Could I learn how to start a business? Could I learn how contracts work and all that stuff like that? Right? You should be able to do it on your phone. Should be a yes. So if you go to like your Safari or Google, whatever you have on your phone as your browser, and type that address in and then put in the code, you should be able to get there as well. All right. All right, really good job, y'all. Let's go to our next question here. All right. So here's our next one. What would reading be like in your school curriculum? All right. Make a list of all the things you would like to read, including titles of books, websites, articles, newspapers, or other texts. All right. So you can't, I don't want you to say nothing for this one. But if you got to choose what the reading curriculum would look like in your school, what would that be? What kind of stuff would you choose? Go ahead and share your posts to this question as well. Right? Should be able to do it the same way. Type it in that box and then go ahead and hit submit. All right, what do we think here for this one? All right, if you got to choose the reading curriculum, what books would we read? What websites would we read? What articles? See if you can come up with anything here for this one and throw them onto the post-it board. All right, looks like we got some coming in. One from Shabria, articles, books on hair. Awesome. I know we have a lot of aspiring salon artists in here, so that'd probably be a good one. What else? What other ones? All right. I'd like to see some other post-its coming up in here. All right. And I know this might take a little bit longer than the last question, so I'll give you guys a few more minutes, but I'd like to see some other ones. Thank you, Shabria. Good job. So what do we think? What would our reading curriculum be like? What kinds of books? What kinds of websites? What kinds of articles? Other texts? Maybe it's none of those, and we would read something else instead. Could be graphic novels if you're into that. Comic books, that sort of thing. Are there specific books that you like that you would want everybody to read, or is there a specific website you'd like us to visit? What do you think? What can you think of? All right, we got one of there from Kira, books on banking, housing, business. So see, now we're kind of connecting the dots, right? Like Kira's posted in the last one was, I'd like to learn how to be a millionaire. So again, thinking, okay, what are the other steps? So okay, that means we should have to read books on banking and business and housing, maybe how to buy, sell houses, maybe even the stock market, right? All right, keep these coming. These are really good. I'm gonna like both of these. Okay. All right, we got a few more trickling in here. Good one, Ambry. Books about how to invest. That's awesome. So take notice, ladies and gents, that most of the stuff we're listing here is all nonfiction, right? But don't be afraid if you enjoy a certain series of books that you think everybody should read. Like if we have Harry Potter fans, Hunger Games, Divergent, and you want to put those on your list, you can do that too. But just, take notice of, that most of the stuff we're saying here is all nonfiction based because it's, like a lot of how-to stuff and things like that. Right. Awesome job. Keep them coming. Tron says books that teach us about goals to set, how to prepare for life. That is awesome. I really like that one, Tron. I have a couple books that I could even recommend that do that. That'd be really good. All right. I will share mine as well while a few of us are still thinking. Still haven't heard from a couple people in here. So we'll give it a few more minutes. I will share mine as well. I would say books about the connection between music and culture. That is one that I would make sure is in there. And also, I would also put How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi on my curriculum list as well. We got one in there. Sammy says how to oh no, I lost his. Sammy says books of mafia. Oh, that's a cool one. Books of billionaires like Jay-Z. So thinking about maybe like autobiographies, right? Um, and also historical text, maybe even, you know, historical fiction too. So, books like the novel Wise, or not the novel, sorry, the book Wise Guy, which is what the movie Goodfellas was based off of, um, which is the kind of account of Henry Hill's life. So, things like that. Sammy would be good. I like it. I like it. All right. Maybe another minute, see if we can get maybe one or two more up here from anybody we haven't heard from yet. All right, looks like we got one more. That's a really interesting one, Taiko. I want to read books like documentaries. So, can you explain that a little bit? Like, do you mean you want to read like biographies, or books that kind of do the same thing documentaries do? That's an interesting one. Can you explain that a little bit more, or maybe give us an example? And you can do that in the chat if you want. Tech will. You don't have to do it in the Nearpod, but either way, very interesting one. All right. So again, take note, ladies and gents. A lot of these are nonfiction stuff, almost all of them. All right, and a lot of them are kind of, not quite self-help, but like how to, how to do this, how to do that, how to set goals, how to invest. Really interesting. Excellent, excellent answers. Cool. All right. Two more questions for this morning. Here is our next one. All right. What other texts would you use in schools? Make a list below: movies, plays, art, infographics, or other non-prose text below. Non-prose meaning it's not like written word. So if we've talked about, okay, this is the kind of reading I would want us to do, what other kind of texts? So are there movies you would want to be watching a curriculum? Are there plays you'd want to be acted? Is there a specific artist you'd want us to look at? All right. Maybe is there like a graphic novel series that you would want us to read? Okay. So think about that. I know this one would be a little bit trickier. So again, I'll give you guys a little bit more time, but think about that and let's see some post-its on the board for this question. All right. We already got one coming in. Good job. Shabria says more realistic movies. Can you give me an example, Shabria, or like, what kind of ones you're talking about? You can share that either in the Nearpod or in the chat right here. But what's an example that comes to your mind of a more realistic movie that you would like to put in your curriculum? But I like that. Let's keep it going here. Who else has one that they can post here? Movies with true stories. Okay, so maybe like biopics or movies based on stuff that actually happened. Is that kind of what you mean? Like Just Mercy or something like that, right? But I like that. Movies based on true stories, so we know that it's actual fact. Okay. How about another one? All right, another one or two. Let's see some more posts coming in here in these next few minutes. All right, but again, I know this one we might have to think about for a little bit, so give ourselves a little bit more time. So we think about, and again, we're thinking about other kinds of texts that are non-prose, meaning non like, they're not like a written book or story, something like a movie, a play, a piece of art, okay? Things like that. And I can share some of mine as well. All right. All right. Kira says theater, definitely a good one. Do you have anything specific here that comes to mind? Like any specific play you'd want to put in your curriculum? All right. All right, good. And again, these are all good. Let's see if we can get even more specific. So rather than just theater, can we think of a specific play that we like or that we know? And if not, that's okay. And if we're saying art, can we think of like a specific artist or type of art that we want to have in there? You can share that either in the chat or in the on the Nearpod board as well. I like that here, Romeo and Juliet. You know what? I was just about to share mine and say the same thing. I was going to say Shakespeare as well. All right. I would say Shakespeare. I would say the play Fences by August Wilson. Um, that's a really good one um, that I would include in my curriculum. What else? And again, if you guys have more, keep them coming. These are really good. What else do we got? Ooh, that's a good one, Amber. I like that one. Leonardo da Vinci. So like the Mona Lisa. Okay. Really good one. I would also say I would put Van Gogh on mine. Maybe Basquiat. If you guys don't know who that is, you can Google him. That's a good one, Kira. Police brutality movies. Um, I like that one. That's a really uh, you know pertinent one for what's going on right now. All really good ones. What else? Let's give this one maybe another minute here. See if we can get any more. Tehran says historical movies. I like that. Tehran, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess you that maybe war movies, like maybe World War II, Vietnam, maybe those are on your list. All right, really good job here. All right, so again, keep in mind a lot of the stuff we're putting here is again also some kind of like nonfiction stuff. Like we're saying historical movies, movies based on true stories. All right, really good. I also really like how a lot of us are including um, art on here. Kira says economics. All right. Um, so maybe that movie, The Big Short, would be good if you've ever seen that. If not, maybe check that out. All right. Really good. Okay, ladies and gents, good job. Last question for this morning. All right. Here is our last one. How do you think what we read in schools is decided? Who do you think decides? All right. This is the last one I'd like you to answer here. Um, you can post it onto the Nearpod board. All right. So, do you think it's decided by your teachers? Do you think it's decided by the principal? Do you think it is the school district? Do you think the state government has anything to do with it? What do you guys think? All right. All right. Take a few minutes. This is what we're going to wrap up here with today. All right. So go ahead, throw up some posts on the board for this one. All right. Still waiting on one of these to come in. I know this one's a little bit maybe might be a little bit trickier, but again, think of it in this way, how do you think what we read in schools is decided? Who do you think decides? All right. Same thing, I think it's decided by me. That is a very interesting one. All right, Sammy. I like that one. Can you explain that maybe a little bit more in depth in the chat? You know, explain how do you think it's decided by you? Do you mean that, you choose whether or not you're going to read it, so it's decided by you, right? Because that is one way to look at it. I think the other way we're looking at it in this question is like, when we look up, and I know, yes, Philly isn't quite like this, so it might be a little tricky, but when you think about maybe other schools you were at, where they had like a curriculum and they said, okay, we're going to read this book and then this book and then this one. How do we decide on all those, on all those things? Who decides on all of those? So just like you were all deciding, okay, if I was creating my curriculum, I would put in books on economics and how to set goals and how to prepare and things like that. Who do you think decides that for schools now? How do you think that's decided? That's kind of what we're asking here in this question, right? All right, skill level definitely goes into it too. That's a really good point, Sammy. Thank you. So you can almost say you decide by having an appropriate skill level, and then that skill level maybe dictates the texts that the teachers choose. So that's one way to look at it for sure. All right. Annie Kareem, thank you for joining us. Kareem, I would actually double check your roster because I don't see you on my attendance list for today. So just make sure you're in the right class. You want second period for Friday. All right. Sit tight for a few minutes, Sammy. We're still going to wrap this up with everyone. And we still got a few more responses coming in here. I'd like to see maybe like one or two more people that we still haven't heard from on this board yet. Kirsten, I think it's decided by what was taught by previous teachers. That is definitely true. That can go along, that can have a lot to do with it. What the previous teacher does can inform what the current teacher does. A good one. All right. What else? Let's see if we can get like I said, one or two more thoughts on this from some people we haven't heard from yet on this board. And it looks like we might have a few people that bumped out of the Nearpod, but that's okay. So if you're still in the Nearpod, you haven't posted yet. Let's see if we can get maybe one more in there before we wrap this up. Give it maybe another minute or two. Now, any other final last minute thoughts that anyone has for this one? All right, then, ladies and gents, let's wrap up this way, okay? So you can go ahead and close out of the Nearpod. All right, really good job. Thank you, everybody, for posting in there and sharing. I really liked a lot of the answers. I want to wrap up with one more question that I'm going to put in the chat here, which is what is one common trend or similarity you noticed with everyone's answers about what would be in their school curriculum? Okay. Oop, sorry, Sammy. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to send that to you privately. All right. So that last question is in the chat. All right. And Deja, I'm glad you were able to get back on. We only got a few minutes left here, though. But like I said, we are recording, so it'll be up on YouTube.
Okay.
I have you marked here already. Okay. But those of us who were here and contributing to the posted board on Nearpod, this is our kind of question to wrap up with today. What is one common trend or similarity you noticed with everyone's answers about what would be in their school curriculum? I'd like you to respond to that in the chat right now. And once I see your response in the chat, then you are good to go for today. Okay. So that's going to be kind of our exit ticket for this morning. All right. What did you notice that was kind of the same, or what were some common trends with everyone's answers that, about what they would include in their curriculum? Were we all kind of saying the same kind of books or the same kind of topics, or, what did you notice that was similar with everyone's answers? All right, again, think about that. Put your response in the chat for me. Obviously, if you weren't here for the beginning or you just joined us, that's okay. But those of you who were, if you can put your response in the chat, once I see it in the chat, then you are good to go for today. And I will see all of you again when we meet on Tuesday. So many things. Tammy said a lot of business stuff. Definitely a lot of business stuff. That is for sure. That was a common trend, as it usually is, because I know we have a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs here. All right. So, Sammy, you are good. Thank you for responding. The rest of us, when I see your response in the chat, you are good to go as well. This is our wrap up for today. All right. Smooth stuff. Definitely. Thank you, Andrea. You are good as well. All right. Everyone had a skill one. Oh, I like that, Teron. That's good. How to learn a new skill. That's true. I didn't notice that. Good job. All right, y'all. So again, once you answer that in the chat, you're good to go. I will see you all again on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Don't forget report card night happening next week. The Summit Labs are have started again in case you need extra help with anything. And don't forget about our new Wednesdays where you can earn some cash money. All right. Thank you, Kira, becoming successful. Definitely true. All right, you are good to go. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna stay in the chat for about another 2 minutes. If you haven't answered, please do so. If I don't hear from you by then, I'm just gonna go ahead and close it out. But great job. Have a good weekend, everyone. Stay safe. My financial stuff. Good, Ty Quill. Thank you. You are good to go. All right. The rest of us, I know Deja, you just joined. Kareem, I don't. You might be in the wrong spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the chat then for the rest of us. If you have questions about anything, don't be afraid to reach out. Give me a shout. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. And I will see you all on Tuesday next week. All right. Really good job today. Report cards coming beginning of next week. Probably they will be mailed to you, Ty Quill. All right. And then we will have a report card night, I believe, next Wednesday. Okay. So if you have any other questions specific about report cards or grades or like credits, Miss Lisa Claudia would probably be the one to ask. All right. All right, y'all. Thank you. Good job. I will see you then. Have a good weekend.